This film takes place less than a year after the September 11th terrorist attacks. I bring this up because it radically altered the culture of the time, in ways that make this movie feel exceptionally ignorant of the time. Even though, literally, the only reason I can comprehend that this movie is set explicitly in 2002 is because the director grew up in that exact year. Yes, this film takes place in Canada, not the United States, but all over the Western world. Canada, America, the UK, much of Europe. People were paranoid because
we were so
9/11
paranoid.
wasn't the only terror attack that had happened. It was the major theme of the decade. I mean, I can understand not wanting everyone to be so fearful, as that goes against the tone that the movie is trying to establish. But then you have very awkward moments if you actually were there and you do actually remember the time period. This film takes place less than a year after the September...
There we go, Michael. Yeah.
Who is that like some random guy? Because I kind of felt like I recognized the voice.
The person's name, I believe, is Mr. Enter, from what I gathered.
I feel like I might actually know that name, but...
Yeah. To be fair to Mr. Enter, this one trailer was really misleading, and it shows the red panda zooming through the sky, hitting the Twin Towers, and then it cuts to a face of the panda as it's about to hit the towers.
Wow.
Turning red, yeah. No, so, obviously, Michael, I hope you would agree with me that... Indeed, that was ridiculous, and of course you hadn't heard it yet, have you?
No, I hadn't, yeah. I actually thought it was almost as ridiculous how Zero Dark 30 had no mention of red pandas.
Oh, God. And I love how he's like, yes, okay, the movie's not set in America, it's set in Canada, but the whole Western world was... And you know, is it a surprise, Michael, that Americans, you know, think that the whole world should react exactly like them? You know?
Yeah, I know, yeah, that's typical Americans.
Yep.
They're just the worst.
Yep.
Hello and welcome to Select and Reflect, the movie review podcast where we look at films that have come out in the near and distant past. We give them a couple of watches and evaluate them beyond first impressions. I'm your host Michael, and I'm joined as always by my co-host Luke. And this week we are celebrating the release of the new Nicolas Cage film called what's it called again?
Con Air. What do you mean?
No, sorry, wait. What I meant, the new film starring him. Wait.
Yeah, sorry, you said new. Sorry, I that was my bad. Yes, it is quite a complicated title. It's The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent.
Yes, yeah. I was trying to Google it as I was talking. I couldn't find it. So yeah, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, which is of course.
Don't Google it because it could tell you the Rotten Tomatoes.
Oh yeah, sorry. Okay. Don't worry, I haven't seen it. Okay. So basically, it's obviously, just in case people didn't know, a film where Nicolas Cage plays his own characters. And apparently Nicolas Cage doesn't want to watch it. But basically, because of that, we thought we'd look at some classic Nicolas Cage performances, and therefore the first of those classic performances we're looking at is his performance in Con Air. So Luke, why don't you tell us a thing or two? And also, is it the 25-year anniversary?
It is indeed,
Michael. The 25-year anniversary as well. So Luke, why don't you tell us a thing or two about Con Air?
Yeah, so like Michael said, the 25-year anniversary, and of course he's got a couple of movies that were very big in 1997 with Nick Cage, and we might be doing the other one next week. But anyway, Con Air is a 1997 American action thriller film directed by Simon West and starring Nicolas Cage, John Cusack, John Malkovich, Ving Rhames, Steve Buscemi, Colm Meaney, Miketta Williamson, and Rachel Tykotin Strauss. There we go. But anyway, obviously, Michael, it was produced by Jerry Bruckheimer, who also produced one of the movies that Cage starred in last year, prior to this, a year prior to this, if you remember, which was, of course...
The Rock.
The Rock, yes.
And of course, we've also done Leaving Las Vegas, which is... so we're basically we're going through his career kind of chronologically from Leaving Las Vegas onwards.
Yeah, when Nick Cage was literally one of the biggest actors in Hollywood, and this movie contributed to it. So, Michael, the movie was released on June the 6th, 1997. Again, we're a bit far away from the 25-year anniversary, but of course, naturally, you know, since the Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent has been released, that's why we're doing it a bit early. Still, it's 25-year anniversary. So, Michael, can you tell me what the budget was for Con Air?
Well, you said Nicolas Cage, one of the biggest movie stars, which makes me think like, okay, maybe that speaks to a slightly bigger budget. I mean, this film has a lot of actors. I'm like, oh wow, but I don't know how many of the actors would have been considered.
It's got a great cast.
Yeah,
it really has.
Yeah, I don't know how many out of these actors would have been considered like, oh, they cost loads of money just because like I recognize them. Obviously it was in the 90s. I'm gonna be wrong. 20 million.
Jesus Christ!
I'm so wrong.
What do you think it could? What? Tell me, Michael. Where do you think you've gone wrong here?
Well, you know what? Okay, so here's the thing. This might embarrass me further, but I feel like I've gone too low.
Yes, you have gone too low.
Okay.
Because of all the fucking set pieces in this movie.
Yeah.
The actors. I can't believe you only guessed 20. Wow. Okay. Again, I shouldn't get angry. I should just put
part of it is because I always struggle a little bit with like when it's in the 90s, working out how much I know inflation isn't a huge thing, but
well, the budget was 75 million.
75. That's quite a lot.
So
That's quite a lot of million.
Yes. Less than half would be, of course, under
37.5.
Yes, 37.5, and of course you get 17 million under that, so that is a definite under. So Michael, can you tell me how much money this made at the box office?
Again, this film's really well known. I don't know what that translates to, which is, again, I feel like I could go easily very wrong with this. I think I might just try and make sure I guess high so as to avoid, so again,
just guess what you think it could be.
250 million.
Very good guess. Because it's actually 224, which is slightly less than I would have predicted, given what the reputation of this movie and how it has become kind of a classic. Again, it's kind of one of the things that I guess has aged better. Because the thing is, when I first saw this movie, it was on ITV2. You know how they sometimes play these classic movies over and over again. And the first time I watched it, obviously I watched it on ITV2, and I was gripped already. Yeah. So I had no prior knowledge of it. And clearly, maybe it's just a case of in the mid-90s, people didn't know how good they had it.
Yeah, that's it. No, yeah. The 90s was the best time, except for, of course, when you go to watch something on the VHS and the person before you hadn't rewound it back to the beginning.
That's always an issue. But yeah, again, the fact that this only made 224 million and wasn't considered that great a movie, but now we look back on it, and certainly I really enjoy it. It shows how, like I said, my theory that the best era for movies was indeed the late 90s. That was when movies were at their best. But anyway, Michael, can you tell me whether you liked this movie?
I did. I thought there were a few areas where I actually thought it could have been a little bit more entertaining. Like, I don't think this reached kind of the absolute zenith of just like hilariously enjoyable nonsense. And I want to clarify, when I say this is hilarious, I don't think this is like a so bad it's good movie. I think there's genuine like entertainment value for this film that's like makes it a good film. But yeah, I don't think it's like the best, but I did unambiguously enjoy it. What about you?
I would agree. Yes, I unambiguously enjoyed it, like you. I think there are some areas where it could perhaps be a bit better, but overall it's just a really fun ride. And I think the climax is the issue. The climax is kind of underwhelming.
Yeah.
Even though they crash in the Las Vegas Strip, you'd be like, "Oh, what a great ending!" Like they get away from the cops at Lerner Airfield, and then like immediately they're brought down again without a big confrontation, a big really.
Actually, the cold open intro is actually very very relevant to this because of course it's also about a massive plane crash in a populated area.
We'll get into that in a bit, really. At the end when we talk about that crash in Las Vegas, because initially you won't believe. Where they wanted to crash the plane. Oh, wow. I mean, I'm kind of think I can guess, but I'll let you have that moment of revealing it. Yes. It was actually in a field in Pennsylvania. Oh. No. Okay. So so Michael, let's get into this movie. Of course, it's a classic. Nick Cage, of course, stars in it. One of the classic '90s movies, which everybody refers to. Again, showing how. I mean, the fact is that if this movie came out today. That would be incredible because movies like this just aren't made. Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, I don't know. Films take themselves too seriously, I guess. Films. Well, I think films often do. Some films don't take themselves too seriously, like Fast and Furious. Oh yeah. But the thing is, that Fast and Furious is just filled with so much bullshit. This isn't filled with so much bullshit. Like you don't get fun, good films nowadays. Yeah, just like a fun, good film, and that is what this is. So anyway, Con Air, Michael, how many nitpicks do you have? Just the one. I have got one as well. You go first. Right, so Poe should have told Larkin immediately about the fact his friend needed insulin. Obviously, this doesn't actually affect the plot, but it's just kind of weird that like his only priority, as the film is set up, is like, my friend needs insulin or else he's going to die. And you would think he'd just be immediately like, oh, by the way, my friend needs insulin, he might die. So, you're obviously a cop. You're here to protect and serve like all cops. So, especially black people. So please go and help my friend get his insulin. That's what I would have said. Okay. That's a good point. So my nitpick is, why is Nick Cage in a prison in California? I don't really know why, because obviously he committed his crime in Alabama. They've got like maximum state penitentiary facilities, whatever the fuck they're called, in Alabama, I'm sure.
Yeah, I mean, is it possible? Like, again, I don't know, but maybe like they don't put you in the state where you live because that might make it easier for you if you escape. Whereas, like, if you are put in like a different,
pretty sure. Yeah, that's not the case because it just makes it easier. You know, again, I don't know why prisoners. I mean, clearly prisoners are moved around. You know, like that does actually happen. But yeah, I'm not really sure why he's in California. But anyway, so let's get into the concept or the plot of this movie, Michael. So what an idea, basically. What an idea. I'll just read this out from a website I got. When the government puts all its rotten criminal eggs in one airborne basket, it's asking for trouble. Before you can say pass the bath bag, the crooks control the plane, led by creepy Cyrus the Virus Grissom. It's... the last line. Watching his every move is the just-released Cameron Poe, who'd rather reunite with his family. Yeah. So I think, obviously, we have two aspects, obviously, the actual plot and the Cameron Poe angle. For Cameron Poe, obviously, it's a redemption story for his character. You know, him becoming a hero after what happened, you know, all those years ago, which we'll get into when discussing his character arc. But yeah, obviously with the plot, it is. Do you know what movie, Michael, I'm going to compare this plot to?
The Rock.
I guess it could be compared to The Rock.
Oh, so wait, are you going to compare it to? I was almost this is probably not it, but it was a film which I vaguely thought of. Suicide Squad.
No.
I was just thinking the only reason I think about that is because it's like a roster of like all of these like the way the villains were introduced made me think of Suicide Squad.
Yes.
No, okay, so yeah, what are you going to compare it to?
Well, Suicide Squad.
Like snakes. Oh no. The thing with Harrison Ford.
No, it's got nothing to do with plane stuff.
Oh, it's got nothing to do with planes because my other guess is going to be snakes on a plane.
It's the concept of the movie, and again, there's a bunch of movies which were inspired by this movie, which came out in 1988.
1998.
No, 1988.
Oh, sorry. I'm continuing. Yeah, Die Hard.
Yes, Die Hard, yes.
Yeah.
So
although if you had mentioned Die Hard 2, then it would be about a plane.
Yes. So this is basically Die Hard on a plane, really. And again, you could argue like The Rock was like Die Hard in a prison, really.
Yeah.
Like, you know, an area or something is taken over, and you've got to stop the bad guys from doing what they want to do. In this case, I guess escaping. You know, in the fucking Rock, it was blowing up fucking San Francisco or whatever. But you have a hero who is trapped in an area and has to save people, basically. And there's, you know, I guess hostages, but this is less hostages like there was in Die Hard. This is just more, they're trying to escape. But of course, the hostages is why Poe stays, because he wants to make sure his friend doesn't die and wants to make sure that guard isn't raped either. And basically the slight difference, which I think makes people think, oh, this isn't really like Die Hard, is because this time he's on their side, obviously, because technically he is. He's a convict. Yeah, and he's not like undercover or, you know, not where he should be. This movie, again, it's kind of like Die Hard. It follows the same like basic structure, just with a few tweaks here and there. And actually, basic structure. It's the concept, I guess, is the better word. It's the same concept as Die Hard. But yeah, basically, you know, it can still fail even if you use the concept of a very good movie. Obviously, you can still
the whole
fail,
is more than the sum of its parts.
Yes, but this didn't, of course. So let's get into the actual script now, Michael. So, honourably discharged Army Ranger Sergeant and combat veteran Cameron Poe returns home to his pregnant wife Tricia. And of course, he returns to this bar in Mobile, Alabama. And, you know, we've got some guys at the bar harassing him. Yeah. And it just doesn't make any sense.
It's so ridiculous. Like, the beginning is so ridiculous.
I know. This is one of the worst aspects of the movie, really, the beginning and the end. Because why would they do that? Like, to a fucking veteran as well. And, you know, I can understand if he wasn't a veteran, maybe. But, like, you know, clearly what does that guy said? Oh, you're the reason we lost in Vietnam. Like,
Who is this guy? Donald Trump?
I know. And Vietnam was like 16 years ago as well. It's like, it's not really, you know, I assume they'd have fucking Desert Storm that's just happened. That's what he'd returned from.
But Desert. See, the thing is, like literally after Desert Storm, which was a really big success, so it's even less appropriate.
Yeah, I know. So yeah, I don't think that's right. But anyway, they should have had Cage basically accidentally spill a drink on him. Just some bullshit like that. Oh, spills a drink on him, and then he doesn't really apologize.
Or how about this? This is a good one. Okay, he gets PTSD. and he's like, because he's like kind of freaking out from the PTSD, he like stumbles into him, and he's like, "Oh, sorry," and then like, they're like, "Hey, you got a problem?" And he's kind of being because then it would be like, then he's more sympathetic, huh?
Yeah. I guess so. Yeah, just something like that. But maybe if he has PTSD though, that would have to be an angle throughout the movie. You can just
I guess you're locking yourself into that. That's a good point.
So and when Cage spills a drink on him and the guy is really pissed off, like he could be like, Cage could be like, oh, he has a witty reply, because that's the thing, like they're harassing him, and Poe doesn't even insult them. Like he just he doesn't say,
he's being like so friendly. Like that's the thing. Yeah, it's like so weird. They're being so friendly. Oh, sorry, he's being so friendly and they're just being like, I hate that guy for some reason.
Yeah, there's not like a reply that got under their skin or not. It's just so underdone. It's like, right, we need him to murder someone, so that's what's going to happen. And so that is the worst part of the movie. They don't really set that up well. And okay, we get into the trial now, Michael.
Yeah, actually, sorry, it's just worth noting that it needs to be stressed. After that encounter where he does like nothing wrong to them, they just attack him outside the bar, which is even more ridiculous. So it's like they're not like, I can't believe that guy was just totally nice to me. I'm gonna go and just attack him with a knife outside a bar with all my friends.
I can imagine some drunk guy being a prick and like arguing with Cage like that, but then it's a whole nother level to go outside and try to like stab him, which is why you needed that. Oh, he spills a drink on him. Oh, like he kind of half insults him, while they're talking to each other. And then that gives him more motivation. There's just no motivation, which is it's very underdone. But anyway, so on to the trial. So because of Cameron Poe's military record, he is regarded as a deadly force. He's just a soldier. Yeah, he's just a fucking army sergeant. Well, it's so the bullshit in this, man. Like the style of the movie, is charming and fun, but they really don't do a lot of work setting it up. Like, they really don't. Like, Cameron Poe pleads guilty, and he still gets 10 years. Like, I thought because they had the lawyer say, if you plead guilty, then you're only going to get a couple of years. Whereas if you say you're not guilty, you could be, getting 7 to 10. And so I thought, oh, that's the setup for why he gets a long prison sentence, because he says not guilty, because he's like, I'm not going to admit to being a murderer. I'm not going to do that for my daughter. My daughter.
Which would make him seem principled, and that would be like, it would work.
Yeah, my daughter's not going to think her dad is a murderer. No. But then he fucking pleads guilty anyway, and then they have this bullshit thing of, oh, he's a deadly force. Like, just skip the fucking that bit and just have him plead not guilty. I don't get it. You set up a reason why he would be in prison for a long time, and it's just stupid. And I don't think there's laws where it's like, oh, you were in the military, so you're not subjected to the same laws as everybody else. I don't think that exists in America. Yeah, I'm pretty sure the judge, if he were to rule like that and give his reason, that would be kind of an outrage considering how much Americans love their veterans. But anyway, so Nick Cage now, Michael, we need to get onto his southern accent. So
yes,
he just makes this performance so good. Well, when I say good, what I mean really is memorable. That's the thing, because every Nick Cage performance needs to have something a little bit weird to it, and of course this is that as well with this accent. In The Rock, his character Stanley Goodspeed was a bit crazy.
It was also called Stanley Goodspeed.
Stanley Goodspeed, yeah. But that's the thing, he was a bit crazy, he was a bit off the wall. Here you have, he's kind of just a normal American like hero, like he just wants to get back to his daughter. He was in the military. He doesn't appear to be weird at all, but that southern accent, that very unnatural southern twang, it makes it. And because it's Nick Cage, you enjoy it and you love it as well. And that's how I feel anyway. What about you?
No, yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, it's kind of weird because, like, I don't know if it would be a bad accent. I think the thing is, like, it's hard to just not hear Nicolas Cage doing a southern accent.
Yes.
But my instinct would be say it's like a serviceable accent in itself. But I think, it is that aspect of just, that it is just Nicolas Cage, the weirdo, doing this like southern accent. Being like,
the weirdo, wow. Can you give me an impression of I'm gonna do an impression
of the classic line.
Yeah, well, reading the letter first, I love the bit where he goes, I am, however, torn apart when I think that I won't be here or there to see our child come into the world, cradled in your arms and her full smile. And it's in
her arms.
It's so clearly like not his normal speaking voice. Yeah, it's just like a fucking foghorn leghorn, that kind of thing. Yeah. But yeah, a little bit softer. And then when fucking Casey, his daughter, writes him, and he replies like, "Dear Casey, it was so good to read your letter. I'm glad you like your teacher," like that. Yeah, I love it. So do the impression of the line you want to do. The impression
the classic line. Okay, let's see. I said, put the bunny back in the box.
It's like so. Oh, it's so iconic, and only he could pull it off. That's the case.
Yeah,
it's
Also,
it's so unusual. Sorry,
yeah.
did you say something?
The funny thing about that line as well is like after he has that fight, I was like wondering because it kind of like holds in him. I was like, is he going to do like a like a stupid line, like a one-liner, like an Arnold Schwarzenegger, like stick around? But he just went. It was like he just said like should have put the bunny back in the box. It's like that's not a good one-liner. He doesn't have any good one-liners in this film, which is really disappointing.
No, he really doesn't. He
does, but like not really, like no like triumphant one-liners.
Well, there's a couple later on where they try, and it's just it doesn't really work. But of course, because it's the ridiculousness, the overtop situation, because it's Nick Cage doing the southern accent, it does work in that way. Anyway, let me try to do the bunny in the box line. Let me
okay, I'm ready.
Put the bunny back in the box.
Yes.
And then, of course, he doesn't put the bunny back in the box, Michael. And then he asks us a question. Why couldn't you put the bunny back in the box?
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, is the only reason he's from Alabama so that they could play Sweet Home Alabama?
Yeah, I do wonder about that, yeah. After all,
Actually,
that man did die in a plane crash.
Yeah.
Which I didn't know until I'd seen this film.
I did read that Cage wanted it to be so he wanted to do a southern accent.
Wow.
Because he thought southern men were more chivalrous and that fit in more with the character.
Yeah, okay. I guess I can kind of like, oh, I'm sorry, man. Let me just help you out there.
Yeah.
They're very kind of friendly.
Yeah, I get. So I think overall he's he's not. It's not good, but it's Nick Cage. And sometimes, that's you can just appreciate that. It makes your viewing experience more enjoyable. Like if you just had his normal voice, this wouldn't be as enjoyable. So have a southern accent. So that's all what it's all about sometimes. And of course, Michael, this is like we kind of mentioned in The Rock. This is Nick Cage at his peak.
Yes.
This, and if you think about it, of course,
he's uncaged. You could say.
Yes, we're doing Con Air this week. Next week we're doing Face Off.
Oh,
his other
spoilers.
Classic 1997 movie. So could you say that this month, because we're in April, is Cage Pro?
Cage Pro. Yes, this is. I mean, yeah. Unfortunately, we're not doing quite enough Nicolas Cage films, but yeah, definitely the first half of this month is definitely Cage Pro.
Yeah, I think we need to make three movies. Then it's officially a theme. 2 in a row is kind of a theme, not really though. Yeah. And yeah, of course, like we said before in The Rock, he was coming off leaving Las Vegas. He then did The Rock, and yeah, then just a few weeks later, after Con Air, Face Off was in movie theaters, and that was a big success as well, and still regarded as a classic to this day. So yeah, this was Nick Cage at his peak in terms of fame and just presence. Best actor starring in all these great movies. Like his performances in all of them are unique and different. He doesn't play the same character in either of these 3 action movies: The Rock, Con Air, and Face Off. Yeah, and yeah, just an unbelievable run. And yeah, I'll be sad to see it end for us anyway next week.
No, yeah, I mean, I will be too, and I don't even want to think about what film we're doing next, mostly because I can't think because I don't remember. But yeah, definitely great actor.
I want to take his face off. That's for next week though. So now we get into the actual plot, Michael, and this is what is going to be the premise of the movie. As you can tell by the fact that the movie is called Con Air, a group of prisoners are getting transferred to a new Supermax facility. Yes. I think that's it. And they're all on a plane together. Is this a good idea, Michael?
You mean for narrative reasons or within the logic of the film?
Logically, would you do something like this?
Well, I mean, you literally said a very appropriate kind of Easter reference, by the way. They're putting all of their eggs in one basket. Yes. Very much are here. The obvious, I guess, what do they say? They say diversifying risk. That's what you need to do. And this is very much not diversifying risk.
Because, if it goes wrong.
If it goes wrong, it goes very wrong.
Very wrong, yeah. And they add in fucking Steve Buscemi's character, which none of them knew were coming on the fly. He's in this as well later. Yeah, and again, it's probably not a good idea, but, all good crime or action movies start with a bad idea from the US government or some authority figure, in some way or another. And I don't care that it's a bad idea. Because it makes for a fun movie.
I think that's excusable. I did want to know, by the way, do you think, I wrote this as a question because I wasn't sure when I was watching it. Do you think it's kind of dumb that they just brought the one gun? Because it seems like there's literally a bit where the guy, because they're like, oh, we shouldn't bring any guns. And like,
No,
okay,
that's their rule.
yeah, and then they're like, oh wait, just bring the one gun. And then obviously you have the scene later on where Cyrus is like, I have the one gun on the plane, which makes me in charge. And I kind of thought to myself, yeah, that was a pretty silly move.
Yeah, it's just, well, that's what they do in real life, though.
Yeah, they don't bring guns. Really?
Yeah, that's what they do. Nobody carries in real life. So I guess I mean, look,
makes sense.
In real life, we haven't had a situation like this, so clearly maybe that's the right move, because if you grab a gun, you can have hostages, like if a random guard has a gun, a prisoner grabs it, then, fucking hell could break loose. And
it's almost as if guns are bad.
Anyway, but yeah, that's fine. That's what makes the movie. So, of course, Poe, let's talk about why he's on this flight. Well, he's just paroled and boards a flight to Alabama, and, basically...
Wait, is this guy called Cameron Poe?
Yeah.
But I just realised, Star Wars, it's Poe Dameron.
Is that a reference, do you think? Because I've considered that before.
I didn't even, I'd only just thought about it now, because I was kind of thinking, when you said, Poe, and you just mentioned him, I was like, oh yeah, of course he's a pilot, he flies X-Wings, haven't you seen the film? And I was like, wait a minute, he's called, that must be a reference, which is kind of, that actually makes me like the Star Wars sequels ever so slightly more, a modicum more.
Yeah, I guess so. But anyway, obviously he's paroled and, he's flying back home to Alabama. So I guess it's the quickest way to get back to Alabama, which I guess is fine. I don't really have a problem with that. But yeah, his cellmate is diabetic, and of course, and he's called Mike Baby Odell. No, Mike Baby-O Odell. That's his name. And I don't know why his cellmate is going with him. They don't never explain that, I don't think.
That's a good point, actually.
He's not a dangerous criminal. And okay, you have one random guy from this prison in California going back to Alabama. Why is this guy going? What's he doing on this flight? He's not going back to Alabama, right? Because he's not getting released yet.
Yeah, so he's getting randomly transported. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah,
that again, they don't explain that. They just need to have Poe have a connection to one of the people on board. So he's invested in saving their life. And his cellmate, it's a quick and easy fix again. It's like, have his cellmate go along with him because they've got a good relationship, even though it doesn't really make sense why his cellmate would be on that plane. Again, it's not that important because, of course, we're about to get onto the most important aspects of the movie, Michael. The cons that got on Con Air.
Yes.
So, John Cusack as Larkin, the U.S. Marshal, gives a great performance, and has so many good performances in this movie, and he is one of them. Although I will say the DEA agent, Duncan Malloy. Do you know what nationality the actor is, Michael? You should know.
Irish.
Yes, Cole McMeany. Could you tell he was Irish, or did you know that already?
I did know it already, and I also kind of did feel like he seemed a bit Irish.
Yeah, you could very much tell that he's still Irish. He didn't really get rid of his Irish accent too well, which is weird because he was in America for years and still couldn't really do an American accent. But yeah, it's a shame he didn't get rid of his accent, unfortunately, because it does stand out a bit. But yeah, obviously, onto the prisoners now, Michael. Most of the inmates, of course, aboard in the flight are being transferred to a supermax prison, and of course we have this great scene with John Cusack introducing them all. A great movie moment. He introduces mass murderer William Billy Bedlam Bedford, Black Guerrilla member Nathan Diamond Dog Jones, and professional criminal Cyrus the Virus Grissom. And the delivery from Cusack with every one of them is so good. It's such an iconic scene, especially when Cyrus Grissom is shown. The camera angle is superb, and all the little bit of details that John Cusack gives about what does he say about Nathan Diamond Dog Jones? It's like, oh yeah, what he said, the NRA was the base negativity of the white race.
Yeah.
He wrote something in prison, and the New York Times called it a wake-up call or something, and Denzel is rumored to star in the movie or whatever. It's just fucking, it's so good. I love it so much. Hopefully you agree, right?
Yeah. I mean, again, like I said, kind of it was interesting because, like I said, it made me think a bit of Suicide Squad, but obviously this film does it way better than Suicide Squad.
Way better.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that's not saying much because Suicide Squad is terrible, but yeah, the way they introduce it is really fun. The villains and their particular thing. It's good.
It's so fun, and the delivery from Cusack it's spot on. It's so good, and yeah, everyone loves that scene, and it's easy to see why. But yeah, also something I forgot, Michael. Dave Chappelle is in this movie, and I forgot that, even though I've seen this before. And yeah, he gives a good performance, obviously, but the thing is, it's basically just him in real life, isn't it?
Yeah. He doesn't really do any acting.
Yeah, being annoying and saying all this random stuff too. This is the big moment where the cons take over the plane, and it's like, oh, that's all it takes. I think you need, if you had a couple more elements to it, that would be better, I think.
Yeah, I think this film is, maybe a bit, you could say, like, overly fast-paced at the beginning. Like, basically, getting to the point where they take over the plane. I don't know exactly what the timing is, but I think when you really consider everything, it's probably a bit faster than it needed to be getting there.
It happens so quickly, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no build-up really at all.
Yeah,
again,
which kind of, doesn't build the tension as much as it could have.
Yeah, just build it up for another 5 minutes.
Yeah.
And and that would have been better. But anyway, so we have to get onto this performance now, Michael. John Malkovich, his performance as Cyrus the Virus.
Yes.
Absolutely incredible. One of the best performances I've ever seen in an action movie, or maybe ever, genuinely. Like, he finds the right balance, just the right balance between dangerous and insane. Joker-esque, if you will, Michael.
Wow.
Comparing it, yeah, I know. No, but that's the thing. Like, he could, with this, of course, he could. This character is Cyrus the Virus. But if this movie never existed and he played like a character, I use the Joker because everyone knows about the Joker, and that performance would work. And he is the absolute MVP of this movie, and one of the reasons why this is a classic. And I love the line where he's like, so someone asks him, "Have you lost your mind?" And he just says, "Well, according to my last psych evaluation, yes." And it's such a perfect delivery as well. Like, his voice is a bit high. That's what makes it good, because his voice is a bit high, but his look is still dangerous. And again, it's the perfect combo of, like, this guy's a criminal and he's slightly insane as well. What would you think?
Yeah. See, the thing about Malkovich is he always seems like he's just kind of slightly annoyed all the time, which is a really interesting, like, thing to have for, like, a master criminal, where it's like, he's really, he's angry and he does seem threatening. It took me a while to even, it kind of sounds weird, but like for a while I didn't exactly realize he was Malkovich. I was like kind of watching, I was like, oh yeah, it's John Malkovich. And yeah, like when you kind of make that association, I think part of it is, like I say, because you wouldn't necessarily think of John Malkovich, or Malkovich just generally, as being a kind of threatening presence personally. But yeah, I think it really works because he has definitely a very strong presence.
Yeah, and again, he's not just like a standard. He has to be a smart criminal, I guess, to pull it off. But do you believe he's a smart criminal?
Yeah.
I think yes, absolutely you do. Like, it's totally believable. And yeah, an incredible performance. I love when Chappelle asks him, "Hey, you didn't mean that dirty N-word crackhead shit, did you?"
Yeah.
And then Cyrus asks for the gun and takes it and says, "Hell yes, I meant it."
Yeah.
And he just casually goes into his next sentence. It's just, that's the best thing ever. That's so funny. That was so perfectly done. I love that bit. But yeah, anyway, so Poe, of course, Cameron Poe, our hero, decides to stay on the plane because he wants to redeem himself, I guess. Or he wants to be a hero for his daughter. He's so close to seeing her, yet he can't stop being a hero. And of course, I do. Do you think this is a good motivation for him to stay on, Michael?
His friend's going to die from diabetes.
Yeah, because and also the guard, The God says to him, "Think of your little girl." And he says, "Now, what will my little girl think of me if I left you here to get dishonored and die?" Again, in the best Southern accent you ever heard. Yes. And yeah, again, his cellmate says, "You're not that guy, you're a convict." Even though him doing something is the only reason he has a chance to live. And, yeah, so again, a bit of a forced conflict there. But this perception, I guess, he has to overcome. Oh, he's a convict. He's not a hero. And the issue I have with his character in general is that it's like, does he have any doubts about him not being a hero or not? Because he just seems to be like from the start, "I'm committed to doing this." There's no like introspection or whatever. And his daughter, the thing is, he wants to be a hero for his daughter, I guess. His daughter already kind of really likes him, right?
Yeah, exactly. That's it. Yeah, like there's no kind of, I guess, there's nothing complex for him to have to internalize here for himself.
Yeah.
It's just like, he's just like, he's a hero. He's always been a hero. He's never done anything bad, and everyone loves him. Yeah,
and the thing is, his daughter could be like, "Oh, I don't really like Daddy as much." I mean, his wife could say this to him in letters like, "Yeah, your daughter's a bit nervous because you're in jail, and she's learned that people in jail are bad, and you murdered someone, and she's slightly scared because people shouldn't kill people and all of that, and so she perhaps thinks you're a bad person." And he's like, "No, I got to prove to my daughter that I am a good person. So I've got to redeem myself and show her that I'm good." But yeah, the daughter he just wants to save his daughter, and he just wants to show his daughter what a hero he is. Like, that's clearly, but his daughter already likes him, so
so he doesn't really have a strong motivation to do what he does.
Again, doesn't really have that strong a motivation, and that would be better if he did. But anyway, so Carson City, of course, is next, Michael, because they land there in Carson City, and we have Steve Buscemi, who is this Hannibal Lecter-inspired criminal.
Oh, okay. I did call him, I was being a bit mean. I said he was discount Hannibal Lecter. Just because, he's got that whole, he's like a psychiatrist thing. But then, obviously.
I mean, his introduction is great, though. I love how these criminals, it's over the top, how they're portrayed, like they're super villains with superpowers or something. You have to have 4 guards, on class this lot for fucking Steve Buscemi. I love that so much. And the line from the fucking Odell or whatever, he makes the Manson family look like the Partridge family. All of that. It's just it's so enjoyable. Well, let's talk about his character arc in this movie, Michael, because the thing is, he goes and talks to this little girl, and you think, is he going to kill this little girl once they land at Lerner Airfield? And of course, he doesn't. Yeah. And it's never shown why he doesn't do that, is it?
Yeah.
Well, because they sing, "You've got the whole world in his hands."
Yes.
Okay. Good thing for Easter that they sing that.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah, but obviously, he doesn't have a moment where you think, "Oh wow, he's changed. He's bettered himself." He's not like the weirdo that killed those 30 people. And it feels like very underdone again. His character arc in this movie. What do you think?
I definitely do agree. He comes across as he didn't leave as much of an impression as he could have, because the whole thing, it's a bit weird when you're kind of watching it, especially during the kind of big action climax, and you're and it's just weird because he kind of just wanders off. It almost feels like it's going into kind of weird unconventional narrative territory, because it's just you're watching this action climax and then you just get this random guy talking to this little girl in a trailer park. It's very weird. I also wrote, by the way, I wrote for him, "We live in a society," because of his whole thing about I'll tell you what's crazy, going up and working a job or whatever.
But anyway, obviously they get to Carson City, and obviously the cops finding out about the plan for the cons to take over the plane makes sense.
Yeah.
What's in Cyrus' locker, and they find all the plans, and also what Poe does to ensure that the cops find out who the prisoners are by putting the tape recorder on one of them. Yeah, again, that's stuff that it makes sense, and it's one of the reasons I'll repeat this, in the future, why this movie makes sense, or why this movie is a good movie, because things like that make sense, the plot developments are logical, and that's appreciated about this kind of movie, which has some ridiculous action set pieces. They actually do care about how things work, the plot progression in this movie, which is appreciated.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Anyway, so we get the debate, of course, now between Larkin and Malloy. Who, after, they realise the cons have taken over the plane. Larkin, of course, Malloy had one of his men die, obviously, and they blame each other. And yeah, it makes sense, because then the conversation about Cameron Poe comes up, Larkin thinks Poe is on their side, and it makes sense why he would think that, why he would think Poe is an ally of theirs, whereas given who Malloy is, it makes sense why he would think all criminals are animals and, not trust Poe at all, and insist on shooting, the plane down. And you get a little philosophical debate as well with Dostoevsky as well in there as well.
Yes,
and it's good, because it does feel like the characters, even though you could argue they're stereotypes, I would argue Larkin isn't really that much of a stereotype. He feels more fleshed out. Maybe that's because he gets more attention, but it does feel like, these characters are fleshed out, and the conflict, it feels real, and the conflict feels genuine as well, which is appreciated. But what do you have to say on Larkin versus Malloy?
No, I did think it was really, that aspect was kind of interesting, because while I didn't really expect the film to properly delve into, be a thematic exploration of how society creates criminals, or the relationship between being a criminal and being a real bad person or whatever. I think just bringing up those questions was good, and I think it did actually kind of, I guess the main benefit to it was in terms of the characters.
It enhances the characters.
Yeah, building up the basis for that conflict, which I really liked.
Yeah, no, it's good, and obviously Cusack is just so good in that scene as well. He is really good. But yeah, this movie is generally, I'd say, anti-law enforcement. Yeah, because just displays all of the cops as very incompetent, all of the guards as very incompetent, and the one guy who's not incompetent, Larkin, is kind of
He's an outsider.
ostracized.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he's not really an outsider so much because obviously he's a fucking US Marshal, but he's ostracized by Malloy, who's this old school, they're all criminals or animals, and of course, because he's a fucking meathead, basically. He's like, he's wrong, and the smarter guy who reads about Dostoevsky, got there eventually. He's the correct guy in this movie. He's right. He knows what is actually going on. He's smart. He's a kind of a modern thinker, but it's not really deep. Again, it's just this debate is just used to enhance the characters. It doesn't really go into a deep exploration, like you said, of what makes a criminal. Are criminals inherently bad? All of that stuff. It kind of avoids that. Just uses that argument to flesh out the characters and the conflict. But that's fine. That's all you'd ask for, and it's appreciated as well. Obviously Poe finds Pinball's corpse, which is David Chappelle, trapped in the landing gear. And he writes a message to Larkin on the body before throwing it out. Again, a smart thing for Poe to do, because he just hears about where they're going and he knows who Larkin is. And this script in these instances, it's just so airtight, if you'll pardon the pun.
Yeah.
No, but that's the thing. Like, there's nothing to nitpick here, which is great about this kind of plot, because again, I mentioned it before, you have this movie which is an action movie and you think, it's a big dumb action movie with all these explosions and set pieces with a dumb premise. Okay, maybe the premise is a bit dumb, but how things work in the movie, I've got Pinball getting stuck in the landing gear, that makes sense because he was putting the transponder in another plane.
Yes.
And they would of course do that, so that makes sense. Poe being ordered to go down there because it's dangerous, I guess that makes sense as well. Like, he would be the one doing it.
Yeah.
Him writing a message to Larkin, that makes sense. Everything is just logical, which is not something you always say for these kind of movies. Indeed, the cliche or the stereotype is these movies notoriously, they don't do these kind of plot. Yeah, that's a good way to put it. They are notoriously sloppy with the plot. This is the complete opposite. And that's what part of what makes this movie so good. What do you think?
No, yeah, definitely. I really do think there aren't really very many moments at all in the film where you're like, well, that doesn't make any sense. Why would they do that?
Certainly
in the middle,
certainly,
definitely.
Certainly the middle bit with the fucking plane.
Yeah, I also want to say, by the way, that Dave Chappelle hitting the car is really funny. just because I like the way you see the family.
I was literally
the couple.
I was literally going to mention that again. This movie's got such character, like that kind of scene. Damn it, honey!
It's like just pay for the car to be cleaned and then some pigeons shit on it or whatever.
Yeah, again, it's and the thing is, this movie knows it knows what it is. That's a wonderful scene. Again, it's such a good scene. So again, this movie we can't really sing its praises enough. Again, I know certainly this middle bit. Again, the beginning, it's a bit bullshit how everything happens, and at the ending, it could be better. But the middle bit, the actual meat of it, is great.
Yeah.
So obviously Larkin learns about the news because of the message that Poe sent him. Again, it makes sense, and heads to Lerner after contacting the National Guard.
Yeah.
And of course,
I did think it was a bit weird that it kind of makes sense, but he knew that they wanted to blow up the thing, and he didn't want that, but he was still trying to warn them. I mean, it makes sense because it's well. They're still law enforcement, so just let them know. But I just.
Sorry, what do you mean?
So the fact that John Cusack knew that Malloy was going to go and blow up the plane,
yes,
and then he finds out they're heading in the wrong direction, and he calls them hey, let me give you the right information so that you can go and find the plane you want to blow up. And it's if he doesn't want to blow up the plane, you could argue, well, maybe you shouldn't tell him. I don't know, but it's I'm kind of well, maybe it's just because he's they're still law enforcement. I still need to contact them.
Exactly. Yeah, if he kept that information from them,
he'd be in trouble.
Yeah, he'd be in trouble. He'd have to tell them.
Yeah. Also, we're going to talk about him stealing the car.
Oh yes, right now I am, yes, because of course I think it makes sense that Malloy and the other guys in the attack helicopter dismiss Larkin a bit too easily.
Yeah, that's not too contrived.
Yeah. Sorry. I think that they do think.
Yeah. Sorry, I said
Yeah. But it's fine. I think that they ignore him. Hey, the transponder's saying it's taking us this way. Fuck, I get that. But again, I love the scene where he sees Malloy's car.
Yeah.
Decides to take that instead to Lerner Airfield. Again, the set, little details like that in the movie. And we mentioned it before with Chappelle falling from the sky onto the car.
Yeah.
Little things like that which just make this movie so enjoyable. Just this prick who's been a prick all movie. Oh, I'm going to take his fancy new car because I need to get to Lerner Airfield fast.
And he has a really good excuse to do it. I will say though, and this is kind of getting into the beginnings of my mild criticisms. What I did notice is they have this setup for it, and then when he actually starts driving the car, it's kind of boring. Like, I was sort of thinking to myself, like, the logical thing to do would be like, okay, he realizes he needs to get there fast. He sees the car, like, oh, that's awesome. And you get in the car and you see him like drive off, and like you kind of at least get some shot of him kind of like weaving in between traffic, like having to get there fast. But it does just kind of cut to him driving along a long empty road. And I was kind of thinking to myself, like, oh, I would have liked a little bit more kind of action with that like speeding off.
I was fine with that. I mean, I don't know, like, what more you can do. Like,
yeah, I don't know. Maybe, I mean, I'm trying to remember exactly what is there so I can think about what isn't there. But my memory is that it is very much just like, he just drives there pretty boringly. Just a boring drive there.
Well, that's what it would be in real life. Like,
yeah, I want a little bit of spice.
He's calling the National Guard, and there was a couple of nice camera angles with the cars zooming past and the camera on the floor. Like, that's pretty much all you could do. I'm fine with that. But anyway, it reminds me, speaking of Nick Cage movies, what happened in The Rock, Michael? Nick Cage has to commandeer the Ferrari. Remember that? Yes.
I can't remember. Does he say anything funny when he does that? I can't remember.
No, I can't remember.
Yeah, I do remember him taking it though.
I think he does say something, but I can't remember what it is. But yeah, a great action movie trope is guys.
Yeah, a guy has to take the car of someone else. Like, police business.
And it's a really fast car as well.
Yeah.
Again, that's great. So let's talk about the geography of the situation, Michael.
Yeah, I'm interested to hear what you think about this.
Because it's at this point in the movie where I start to question it, because, I'm fine. Oh, the transponder is going to Arizona. They're clearly somewhere in California. They went to Carson City, which is in Nevada. Okay, that's fine. Did you notice this issue, Michael? See if you were paying attention and your brain was as switched on as me.
Okay.
Larkin, okay? When he gets the call from Fresno, who's he in a meeting with?
Larkin gets the call from Fresno. Who's he in a meeting with? He's in a meeting with Malloy? No, sorry, no, he's in a meeting with his Nicolas Cage's family, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, good. Sorry, yeah, got you. And that doesn't make any sense because they would be in Alabama.
Yes.
Yes. That's a good point.
Why are they like, that's the thing. Obviously, there's this scene. Poe is going home to Alabama, and he's taking a trip to do that. That's why he's on this flight. Larkin says, "Oh, he's getting a ride home." Okay, we've established that. But his wife and daughter meet with Larkin, which implies they were a short distance from where Poe set off from. This place in California, wherever it is.
Yeah.
And they were 3 hours away from it at the most, because Larkin, gets the call from Fresno police, while having the meeting with Poe's wife, and it would have taken a couple of hours probably from the cons. I did this on Google Maps to get from Carson City to flying over Fresno. It would have taken them a couple of hours, and then the cop calls in the body. That adds an hour. And the only reason why, of course, Poe's family would have gone to where Larkin is because of the events happening in Carson City. So they would have had to be probably 3 hours away from this place in California where Larkin is based, where Poe obviously set off from. And I don't think you can get from Alabama to North California in 3 hours.
Yeah, and especially considering the fact that the fastest way to get there would be plane, which is literally the way that the Nicolas Cage is moving. So
yeah, but to be fair, the planes can have different speeds.
Yeah, that's true.
But they should have had, to make it make sense, they should have had a line about maybe Poe is, I don't know, going to Colorado. That's where he's getting his lift to, and that's where his wife and daughter live, because his wife's sister lives there, and it's a stop along the way. And they thought, oh, why don't we just meet up in Colorado? There's just somewhere out west, not in fucking Alabama. But yeah, it's an oversight in that movie which they could have avoided.
That's a good point.
Yeah, there's a bit of a plot hole there. But anyway, so obviously we get to Lerner Airport now, and of course Poe warns the others of Sandino's past acts and deceit and betrayal, and therefore Grissom orders the others to fuel up the plane and ready it for takeoff. And Poe does that, and it turns out to be the advantage of Grissom, because that's of course what happens. But Poe does that to make sure that the hostages don't die.
Yeah.
Again, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
Again, makes perfect sense. And they discover Sandino planning to escape on a hidden private jet, which Larkin sabotages. Again, a logical twist, and that was probably something that you could see coming, but it makes sense. And then Grissom executes Sandino. I love this bit, by igniting the plane's fuel. As what does he say? Sandino's like, Cyrus, and he says "Sigh," and then Cyrus goes, "Sayonara."
Yes, the sayonara. Yeah.
Tell me you liked that moment.
I loved it. It was really funny. Like that. That was a good one-liner right there. Yeah, it's just another example of why Malkovich is the best part of the film, because he gets the best one-liner.
He does.
Sayonara.
I still think the best moment is when he says to Dave Chappelle, Did I mean that? Give me the gun. Hell yes, I meant it.
Yeah.
That's still my favourite bit. So the inmates find a bunch of fully loaded shotguns and rifles in the cargo hold and prepare an ambush for the National Guard. And as the National Guard arrives, of course, the inmates launch an assault, resulting in a number of casualties. And I just think, how stupid are the National Guard?
Yeah, that is pretty stupid.
Just walking into a literal trap. A lot of explosions, Nick Cage running through the explosions as well. And of course, an element which is over the top, but it works because it's in this movie when the car gets hitched to the plane and gets
it getting destroyed was really fun.
And then takes off.
Yes.
And that is, again, just whoever thought of that, the setup of this guy really loves his car, and then the payoff. Just a really good moment. But yeah, what did you think of that whole scene, Michael?
No, yeah, I also did like it. Again, I think like pacing wise, it was almost like not what I expected, because it kind of felt like they landed the plane like onto the airport quite early. Then it was like a bit interesting to kind of see what they ended up doing with the the rest of the time given that. And yeah, I think it was entertaining. And yeah, I mean, obviously there is kind of the issue that it does rely on the Rangers, or is it Rangers National Guard? Is that what you said?
The National Guard.
National Guard, yeah, National Guard being kind of dumb, but no, yeah, it was enjoyable.
Even Larkin's got something to do, by the way, with the bulldozer as well.
Yeah, that was good actually. Yeah, I like that bit with the bulldozer. I think that was probably my favorite bit, where like they start, which I guess is kind of like, because there it's like both sides are being smarter and more tactical, which makes it more entertaining.
Yeah, and again, Cyrus is like, okay, now we need to go. Now they're advancing us. And yeah, it's smart, which again, it's not something you always say for these kind of movies. It's smart how Cyrus finds out that indeed Poe has betrayed them and is working against them. All the little clues, about how did the guards find out, why is Larkin there at this base, and then of course the plane being tied up as well. It's not some bullshit thing. It's a logical conclusion to come to, with everything, trending that way. And of course, they find out about Poe's past, the fact that he was on parole. Why did he not want to get off the plane? And why did he lie to them? Yeah, and it makes sense why he would lie to them in that situation. Everything, it's just beautiful, Michael. And
it all comes together.
It all comes together perfectly. And again, maybe I'm praising a movie too much for just making sense. But again, these action movies, that doesn't always happen, which is why this movie is so revered. And it's a classic. Well, it's a classic for other reasons as well, but I think that is one of the aspects of it. And of course, then he finds the letter from the daughter, which seals the deal. And I love his delivery when he reads out the letter from Karen Poe's daughter as well. Which is great. But let's get, again. Well, I was going to talk about the character art for Poe here. I guess we've already talked about it.
Yeah, we kind of have.
Yeah, but I
did want to talk about the insulin guy getting shot. Sorry, there's one other thing I missed, which I just realized I didn't mention. The black guy whipping the people who are dragging the plane out of the hole or whatever. Like when they're dragging the plane out, I just found it funny that they had like the kind of black nationalist guy whipping them. I just thought that was like a weird scene to include. But I wanted to say about the insulin guy is when he gets shot. The only thing that kind of like very slightly bothered me about that is like it's one of those situations where if he actually ends up dying, then that's sort of just annoying, because it means like that everything Poe did was pointless, and I would just find that annoying.
Well, he still saves the guard, doesn't he?
Yeah, I suppose, you're right. But obviously, then the thing is he doesn't die, but it's like, well, that's, so I guess what I'm saying is I didn't really find that very impactful when the guy gets shot, personally, because I was like, well, either he doesn't die, in which case it doesn't matter, or he does die, in which case the entire reason for Poe being here matters considerably less. So yeah, that was just a minor thing, but yeah, I was thinking about it.
Yeah, I know. But yeah, I guess he's standing up for his friend as well. So I'm fine with that. And I think I do like the delivery again from John Malkovich, where he's like, the guy standing up for Poe goes, "That's pretty smart, huh, motherfucker?" And then Malkovich shoots him, and he's like, "No, that's pretty smart." And again, it's a great delivery, because it's like, there's a comeback, and it shows you like his internal rage that he has inside him and the insanity with the delivery. Yeah, it's a great line reading as well. But anyway, so we, of course, the character art for Poe. The thing is, he always thinks he's the hero again, and that gets him into trouble. That was that's what his wife was saying at the beginning of the movie, of course. And he is, of course, the hero in this movie, and says lines like, "I'm going to show you that God exists, and then, I'm going to save the day." He literally says that to Larkin, Remember? It's
Yeah.
Very. Again, it kind of works because this movie's over the top. But yeah, I mean, maybe the message is with Poe's character, like you always got to be a hero, no matter the consequences. Like you always have to be that guy. You know, I guess if they don't really communicate that at all, but I guess that's maybe the message that you take from this movie with Poe being the hero, considering that his wife didn't like that was the case.
It does. Yeah, it definitely does seem to show being the hero is a good thing. Standing up to save the day and doing what's right is a good thing.
Even if it gets you in trouble.
Even if it gets you in trouble. Even if it's going against the rules. Yeah. Stealing some guy's super fast car is a good thing.
Yeah, not really a redemption arc again, since his daughter, again, loves him already. You know, if his daughter thought he was a bad man for being in jail and this was his chance to prove to her he wasn't, that would fit a lot better. But anyway, they do try to make him a bit like Bruce Willis with the vest. And,
yes.
Yeah, again, we talked about the similar scenario to Die Hard, you know, just a bit more cheesy, more over the top. But again, the crucial thing is the movie knows it's over the top. You know, when the guy shoots Nick Cage and he just doesn't even flinch, like shoots him in the arm.
Yeah, that was a good bit.
Yeah, I love that moment. That's a great moment as well. So they crash land in Vegas, of course, and again, it makes some sense, but not really, because they were a bit far from Vegas, and the plane ride from where they take off in California to Vegas does seem relatively short.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like it would be pretty difficult in like the kind of Western United States to manage to be anywhere near a major city, you know, because it's a pretty empty place. So pretty.
It's just a fucking desert, isn't it? You know, between San Francisco and Los Angeles and Vegas and I don't know, I guess fucking Salt Lake City. That if you imagine that square in your head, it's just like there's nothing there. But yeah, I guess, you know, hey, they have to land in Vegas because they need an ending. And indeed, I'll talk about this in Vegas. So the crash site was filmed in the Sands Hotel before its demolition on November the 26th, 1996. Producer Jerry Bruckheimer found the right spot for the climactic finale, originally planned for a crash at where, Michael? I referenced.
Well, I'm guessing New York City.
No, in fact, it was a crash at the White House.
Oh, okay.
Because that's where the fourth plane wanted to crash, of course.
Yeah.
The White House, but that didn't happen, did it? But yeah, Vegas was more in keeping with the theme and the visual pun of convicts cashing in, I guess. Bruckheimer said, "We got very lucky. The Sands was going to be demolished anyway. They blew up the tower on their own. We arranged to blow up the front of the building." So there we go.
That is really lucky. I tell you what, never let a good demolition go to waste. That should be a good Hollywood motto right there.
Yeah, that is like Bruckheimer. He wrote. He clearly knew what he was doing here, and of course, he got fortunate. But if you're always looking for those opportunities, then you know luck comes to you, Michael. You make your own luck, and But the crash landing in Vegas, Michael, again, I think it happens too quickly after they have the battle at Lerner Airport. Like
I'm kind of with you on that.
They need a bit more space, and they needed a bit more of a climactic finale then. While the plane's going down then, because I guess maybe Vegas would be a good idea for a crash landing, but what I thought would be a good idea is, obviously they're trying to make it to what I imagine the US-Mexico border, so they're in Mexican airspace, so the US can't follow them in, I guess that's what they're trying to do. So it would be good if somehow they got very, very close to the US-Mexico border, because of course, like Vegas, it's like they're so far away as well. Like Vegas, there's a whole fucking state, which is Arizona, between Vegas and the Mexico border. So it'd be good if they got close to the border, and then just they're about to they can see the border, and then like Nick Cage somehow manages to bring the plane down.
Yeah, well, I'm a bit disappointed that I think Nick Cage fighting on the plane was really absent from this. I'll actually mention now because I forgot. After they put the bunny back in the box scene, the fight he ends up having with the guy is kind of lame. I think part of it is because they're like forced to crouch, but it kind of just looks like, I don't know, a bit awkward. And I think that's kind of thing, like when you watch this film, it's Nicolas Cage fighting a bunch of like super criminals on a plane. You would think there'd be like this really awesome kind of action scene where like the plane would be spinning around, they'd be like fighting them and all that kind of stuff. And I think honestly, like it seems like they're just kind of running out of fuel, like their engines are damaged, so they just kind of crash anyway. And it does make, I don't know, maybe Nicolas Cage feel like he was a bit less relevant.
Yeah. I mean, he doesn't. Yeah, I guess so. And that's what I'm saying. Like, if Nick Cage helps take down the plane before it enters, Mexico, then that would
work much better. Yeah.
Yeah, and a bit more of a gap. Maybe he's stuck and figures a clever way to get himself out of it with the help of someone else on the plane. and then just before they're about to get across the border, the plane crashes in some fucking desert in Arizona. And yeah, obviously you wouldn't have the fucking Las Vegas demolition thing, which is perhaps what they were going for. But yeah, I think it would be a better ending to the movie in general. But I guess if you want that set piece of the plane going through fucking Vegas, then that's what you go for. But yeah, the actual landing, I like it when when Larkin and Poe get on the police bikes at the same time to catch Cyrus. That's a good moment. And then when of course they're battling in the fire truck with Cyrus, and they stab him in the leg, and he dies 4 times. Michael, he's on top of that like fire ladder, and he hits this bridge thing, and he goes through like 2 glasses or 2 windows, and then he falls on the floor. Then he gets electrocuted.
Yeah.
Then he falls on the floor, and then a garbage thing, I can't remember what it was, crushes his face. Yeah. It's like the most over-the-top death scene you could ask for, but hey, it works. It's fitting for a villainous, I guess. What do you think?
No, yeah, I do agree. Like, it is, that aspect is satisfying of, yes. The way he just gets, like, pretty substantial death.
Yes, and of course, I love the ending as well, with this fucking serial killer, Steve Buscemi, whatever he was fucking called. Grissom? No, that was Cyrus. What's this guy called? The Steve Buscemi character. It begins with a G. I think his alliteration, GG. Garland Green, that's it. The Marietta Mangler. What a name. Of course, what happens at the end, Michael? Like, this guy, Garland Green, most notorious serial killer on the eastern seaboard, I believe that's what they said, who somehow has been cured from talking to that little girl. This Hannibal Lecter murderer, again, kill 30 people, is out in the streets of Las Vegas playing craps or whatever it's called. Yeah. And the movie treats it like it's a nice, fun ending. Oh, look, look.
That's so funny.
Oh, look, you got out. There's just this fucking the worst one of them all. He's just, you're feeling lucky? Yes, I am. I love it, man. I love that so much. Great. This movie knows exactly what it is. I love it. But yeah, that's it. And that's my... I guess it's time to conclude now, Michael, on Con Air. So do you want to go first?
Yeah, sure. So this film is good. It's very entertaining, and obviously Nicolas, it's a perfect kind of film for Nicolas Cage. He's very, very over the top, and very silly. But then there are also like actual good performances. Like obviously, Malkovich is objectively a good villain. And also the things, there are lots of moments which I do think are like really great. I think the premise is good, obviously it's a bit silly, but whatever. And there are like several moments which are just like, oh wow, this is like, Dave Chappelle getting pushed out, landing on that car, the whole thing with Malloy's car. I guess cars being destroyed is the real funny thing in this. But having said that, should a film about planes have the best bits be about cars being destroyed? Some might say that maybe planes should have been a bigger focus. Like I kind of do think that, like, I think maybe the plane aspect almost feels, and maybe that's one reason why I'm not so hot on the whole like big ambush scene, because I do feel like it would have been nicer in a way, knowing that this is like, it's called Con Air. If it would have had a bit more focus on the plane thing, it kind of feels like they landed at the airport pretty early, they're at the airport for a long time, and then, like you said, there's only quite a small gap between them getting off of the airport and then crash landing in Vegas. So I think that's something which is a bit disappointing in terms of what you might expect. And I think in general, the pacing is a little bit like at the beginning. I think they could have stretched out the beginning a bit, and then maybe tried to save some time elsewhere, like, maybe shorten the airport scene somehow. But yeah, I think you could have stretched out the beginning a bit to just establish more, build up the tension. And yeah, that's my main issue, I guess. Like, I think as an action film, it's really good.
It's only 1 hour and 55 long, by the way.
Yeah, they could have just. So yeah, I think, my main issue is just, while the action is good, I think they could have built it up a bit more, and also delivered on it in some instances maybe a little bit better. Like I say, I was, there were some action scenes I was like, okay, this is kind of disappointing. Overall though, it is good. I think I'm only going to give it a high 6. I was thinking a low 7, but yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think I like this film as much as The Rock. Because while I think this film is entertaining, I don't know if I necessarily call it like great quality. It's just a well done film that is entertaining in its own way.
Yeah, well, that's why I think as well. I gave The Rock an 8.5 out of 10 because I think it's the best action movie
ever.
Yeah, probably. Maybe the best action movie I've seen from what I can recall. But yeah, Andrew Johnson, review of the Time Out New York, stated, leaving The Rock last summer, I thought it seemed physically impossible for a more over-the-top action movie to be made. That was pretty short-sighted of me, since it was only a matter of time until producer Jerry Bruckheimer topped himself as he does with this widely entertaining Con Air. And that's the thing, that's the best thing about it. It's entertaining. It is entertaining throughout. There's so many enjoyable moments. And the thing is, I think, The Rock is probably a better movie. This is more entertaining. But I'm not going to give it as high a rating as The Rock because, again, I think The Rock is a better movie overall. But yeah, this is more entertaining. So many great moments. And crucially, the plot does make sense. The beginning and the end could use some work, but the plot makes sense, and that is so appreciated. And it shows that if you make a big dumb action movie, it doesn't have to be dumb. It can be an action movie, but it doesn't. It can still work on some levels. But obviously, Nick Cage's character could use some work. Very, very 2D. I'd say give him more motivation. I love the characters of Larkin, played by John Cusack, and of course I love the character Cyrus the Virus, played by John Malkovich. Great characters, great performances, which really do elevate this movie, and they produce, of course, some great moments. And yeah, this is just, I'm going to give it an 8 out of 10, Michael. I'm going to give it an 8, because I think, again, it's a really fun action movie, which, again, could be a bit better, but, you enjoy yourself so much while watching this movie. It's crazy, man. It is truly crazy. You can easily see why it's a classic. But anyway, Michael, now it is time to guess what we are going to give
guess what's going to be got by the...
Yes, guess what is going to be got for Nick Cage's new movie, The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent. Of course, which is why we're reviewing Con Air today. So, Michael, without further ado, are you ready to guess what you think this movie is going to get on Rotten Tomatoes?
Yeah.
Okay, not too confident.
Yeah, okay, I've got one, okay.
Okay, well, at least you've got a number in your head, right?
Yes.
Okay,
yeah,
let's go for it. Right.
I literally have no idea, so yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1.
79%.
Okay.
I don't know why I said percent, to be fair.
Yeah, 79%. Yeah, I think it's a very interesting concept, and I think I was when I heard the concept, I was immediately excited about it, because I'm like, oh, that's a really interesting premise, and if they pull it off, that could be really fun.
Yeah, that's kind of what I was thinking, because sometimes, Nicolas Cage is in some good films.
Yes,
obviously we like to razz him, but he is. Obviously these ones good. Yeah.
Pig, which apparently should have got nominated for Best Picture, or at least him for Best Actor at the Oscars this year, but didn't. So you predicted 79 for The Unbearable Weight of Massive Talent, and I predicted 90. Let's see who's right. We'll see who's right next week when we review another Nick Cage movie, Michael, and another Nick Cage movie from 25 years ago, another action movie classic or whatever. What is that movie, Michael?
Well, you've already mentioned it. We're reviewing Face Off.
I want to take his face
off.
Yes. So join us next week for that. And yeah, we've been reviewing Con Air this week, another classic action movie, which is so enjoyable. I could watch it again right after watching it. And you don't say that for a lot of movies. I watched it, give it some time. I could immediately go back to watching it right after this. But anyway, who have you been, Michael?
I've been Michael.
I've been Luke. Thanks for listening, and goodbye.
Goodbye.